This thing tried to pull up the movie with Samuel L. Jackson in it.
For
Arena.
Oh. There's an Arena movie with him in it?
Yeah. Like it came out in, what was it, like 2000 or something?
Ooh. Not cool.
It's like him and some white dude. Who was the white dude? They all look alike.
Yeah, which white guy?
Yeah, exactly. All these white fuckers look the same.
White dudes.
Kellen Lutz. Never heard of him. You know why? Because he didn't make it.
Just like Paul Satterfield.
I mean, he really made it, that guy.
He was a shitty Sam Jones.
Yeah, he really was.
Yes.
No, I'm really thinking we want to cast somebody that looks like Flash Gordon. That guy'll do.
Yeah, he was on that movie The Raft, remember? He was a dick.
Didn't he do a TV show too?
Think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Quite good. Attack warning. Is it for real? Attack warning is for bloody real.
Live from Colorado Springs, the Drop Culture Podcast.
Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Come on, quick, get down. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast. We're that podcast where we pick up that piece of pop culture you forgot about or missed, shine it up real nice, and cram it in your ear holes. I'm Dan. As every week, I am joined with
Brock.
Boom. And today, this morning, whenever you're listening, you're going to be in for a treat.
Yes.
Because we are bringing you 1989's
Arena. It's one of the lost shitty movies of all. I mean, this one was buried underneath Bronx 1999, you know?
It was down there a ways.
This is the warrior that the lost world actually lost.
Yeah, they lost it for sure.
I can't tell you how much I really like this movie. Every time I saw it on something, I would watch it. Like I searched it out on YouTube about 5-10 years ago, watched it all the way through and was like, yes. And then when it came on Tubi, it was like, oh my God. Look at that movie. I'm watching it all the way
Look
through.
at his horn. It's just so big.
It's just like, wow.
Must be one of them arena champions.
Horn champion.
I had never seen this movie before. Never even heard of this movie before. This was definitely a piece of drop culture to me because
You never?
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
After all the times I talked about it.
No, dude. I learned a long time ago. We've been making this. Hold on. We've been making this podcast for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago to not necessarily take every recommendation that you give me to heart.
Of course. Of course. Because my tastes are fucking weird.
Mine are too. They're just weird in different ways sometimes.
Yes.
Like, you're definitely an arena guy. Yes. And I'm definitely
Robot Jocks.
Return of Killer Tomatoes kind of fella. And that's okay.
It was so shitty even back in the day. I remember this is my first foray into arena. Okay. Or to the arena.
Oh.
Okay. So
stepping into the arena.
It's like 1991 or something, right?
Okay.
It had just come out on VHS and my buddy rented it.
Okay.
And he also had Tango and Cash.
Oh.
And a little black and white television.
Okay.
And the VCR was hooked up to the little black and white, right? Arena. He had Arena. And I was like, dude, let's watch Arena, because they stole the videos and they didn't bring them back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so they couldn't go back and rent anymore. So they only had those two. And he was always like, I don't want to watch that shitty movie. And I'm like, but it rules. I want to watch it again. So when I got older, I got back into it, and then was just like, this movie is really bad, but it's so bad that I love every aspect of it.
And again, I have no room to speak. There are plenty of movies that are mostly terrible that I love.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
This just wasn't one that I was ever exposed to.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's certain ones that now, like, I kind of go back to Microwave Massacre.
Right.
I really do like that movie, and it is really fucking stupid.
Sure.
You know, this one, the best way I can describe it is great value Mortal Kombat, because that's really what it is.
In space.
In space.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's like the year 4038.
Sure.
4038. Like, they couldn't go to, like, 2098 or something like that.
Because we wouldn't be fighting aliens in an arena for 50 years.
Yeah, in deep space.
Yeah. So they had to set it out far enough. I do see value in that for one thing. I hate it when I watch a movie and they're like, in the future in 2012. Like, what?
1998.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. The only time that ever mattered was Escape from New York.
Right.
That was really it. You're like, oh man, that's 1988. Oh, that sucks.
1988 is going to be terrible, man.
1997 sucks, man. But they are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So basically it is.
They're on Deep Space Nine, which half the actors came from.
Or they actually went to.
Or went to,
Yeah. It looks, the filming, even the aspect ratio, it's like somebody's like got the negatives and they're like, we're not going to fucking do this in widescreen. What?
Why?
That's fucking stupid, right? So it's still in that 4x4 aspect, you know? So it's just like a TV.
4x3?
4x3, yeah. So it's just in that fucking TV aspect where you're like, oh, those black bars on the side. Don't use zoom on that one, because you'll cut off half of everything.
Right.
You know, even like Forrest Shorty's hands. So it's just, I don't know. I just remember it being so shitty. And about that time, you know, you had Big Trouble Little China. You had those other things that influenced a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And I think this one has no history, because nobody wants to give it history.
I think the best review I saw, and I don't remember who it was from, but it was at the time, it said something like, if you like Battlestar Galactica, you'll probably like this juvenile sci-fi movie. Something to that effect.
It works.
Yeah.
It fucking works.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. Like, it's silly. It's goofy. It's terrible in parts. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it was so bad that it was kind of good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Kind of good.
Kind of good.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe if this
It was no squirm.
Yeah.
Now you got the worm face.
Or Motel Hell. Shit. There's a lot of fucking movies that this movie, I guess, I don't know how much of a budget they had.
Here, I think I can tell you. I think
Do
that
you
I
have the
did
budget?
pull that up at one time.
$50.
Yeah, I think it was $4.95 actually.
And then they borrowed everything from Robot Jocks.
Yeah. They were like, "What do you got, man?" Where did I see that?
And Robot Jocks ruled. I know they only used like a couple of set pieces from there, but not much. You know, maybe it was the same hallway or something. But some of the monsters, I will say, that's one of the only redeeming quality for this movie was the creature makeup. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the costumes.
Sure.
Not necessarily Horn. Was really bad.
Not Horn.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Had big old giant fucking mechanical head. You know, it was really shitty. But there was some really good aliens in it. There was some thought put into it.
Sure.
But like the rest of it fucking sucked. There was like a robot that was called Spinner.
So this actually, this movie was filmed in 88, like finished up in 88. And I said 89, but it didn't come out to the U.S. till 91.
Mm-hmm.
So we should, in case somebody's looking for it,
Yeah.
to watch it, 91 is what you're looking for.
This reminds me of the same time period that Captain America 1990 came out and
Yeah.
The Punisher came out. And
Oh, you mean Dolph Lundgren?
Mhm.
Punisher? Yeah.
yeah, it reminds me of that time period so much because of the film stock that they were using, the camera, the lighting, everything like that. It looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
It fits into that straight to VHS quality.
Yes.
100%.
And I'm apparently a liar. I thought that I'd seen that, but I don't know where I saw it. So
Oh, the actual budget?
yeah.
Well-
it's like $5.42 and some shoestrings, I think.
They're like, here's some magic beads.
Yay!
Yay! If you throw this out onto the Robot Jock set, guess what? It's going to sprout a movie. And then the director gets there and he's like, let's throw these out. And they're like, dude, it doesn't work that way.
No, those beans aren't magic. You got ripped off, fucker.
We're going to cut your budget by $2. So basically, it's arena fighting in deep space, which I did read that it was like a loose remake of a Star Trek episode called The Game Masters of Triskelion.
I think I read that as well.
So there's not a lot of information about this movie out there.
No, but I'll tell you that one person that stood out to me was the producer of this movie, Irwin Yablans.
Yep.
Obviously, he's made some great movies like Halloween.
Yeah.
He was a producer on that. That was actually his idea for Halloween that he gave to Carpenter.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Roller Boogie, Halloween 2, Blood Beach, Halloween 3, and Tank. I don't know if you remember that movie. I believe that was the movie, if I'm correct, with, what was that guy? The Rockford Files guy. You know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
James Garner.
Okay.
Where he gets a tank and he like goes through town and shit. Like I remember seeing it like when I was a kid.
I remember seeing the box art to that one.
Yeah, seeing Thomas Howell's in it.
Oh.
Yeah, so there you go.
Redeem.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyways, but for him to be involved in the Halloween movies, he's obviously a pretty big deal. Aside from those, he pretty much made crappy movies, to be fair.
Yeah.
But there's a nice tie in there to something good.
I think this movie would have really killed everybody's career that was on it. I mean, if somebody really tried to push it as serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But they didn't.
They were smart. They were like, no, we're not. No, nobody's going to care.
No. Yeah. Those two kids in fucking Amarillo, Texas, one of them's going to like it.
That's right.
And then like 30 years from now, he'll talk about it. Because it really was like 30 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
That's just, it's so nuts that this movie was just one of those that was kind of like pushed to the side in the back, one copy. Nobody really rented it.
That's why I've never seen it.
Yeah. And then my buddy stole it. If this is one movie that he stole, like he didn't get anything cool. Except for Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
And you know what's fucking weird? One of the guys in Tango and Cash is in this fucking movie too.
That's fair.
It's so weird that I never got that connection until the last time I watched Tango and Cash. I was like, oh man, it's Rogor. Yeah, okay.
Well, you want to get into the cast?
Let's get into that cast.
I'm going to start with Mr. Satterfield.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Paul, if you're nasty.
Paul Satterfield. He was playing the main titular character, Steve Armstrong.
Yeah. What a great name for a protagonist in the
what a white name.
80s and early 90s.
I'm Steve Armstrong.
Steve Armstrong. My Uncle Stretch taught me how to fight.
And, okay, this is the weird part too, is you recognize him. I always recognize the dude, and I never put two and two together until the last like 5 or 6 years. I was like, oh my God, he was on Creepshow 2.
Yeah.
He was the fucking, the asshole that was on the raft, you know?
Right.
And that's the best fucking one out of all of those from Creepshow 2. is the
Pretty
Raft.
good, yeah.
Fucking love it. And
other than that, he was pretty much just in a bunch of soap operas.
pretty much, yeah.
Here's the weird part. You know who his stepfather was? Booker T. Jones.
No way.
Hell yeah.
What?
Yep.
No,
Booker T and the MGs.
That's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking didn't know that.
Well, there you go. I feel like I taught you something.
You did. And I taught you about a movie.
You did. You 100% did.
That was pretty much all he did. Was Creepshow 2 in this?
Yeah, I think he had some sort of a show maybe after this that didn't last very long. But he was also in Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Like a
bit
really
role.
small Dallas Coleman. I don't remember who that was.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Sure.
Then we can get to, do you have any more about Paul?
No, just I thought that was cool that he was Booker T's stepson.
It's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah. And he also often got mixed up with people would mistake him for Christopher Reeve.
For real?
Yeah, because they thought I guess he looked a lot like him, I guess.
He's tall and blonde.
But
maybe.
wait a minute.
Yes, too blonde.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
too blonde for all that. Anyways, but that's what they said.
Well, then you got Hamilton Camp.
Yes.
Now, it took me a while to really realize what he was into, and it really came down to me reading about it. He was in Almost Heroes. Now, that was the last Chris Farley movie
Okay.
that Chris Farley did.
Is
And
that with him and
Matthew Perry?
Perry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they were like
Lewis and Clark.
yeah.
And it's really fucking so bad,
Yeah,
but it's so
terrible.
funny.
It's
Really,
pretty
really,
terrible.
really, really funny. It was Chris Farley it was the same kind of shtick, but yet he was the leader, de facto leader almost. But Hamilton Camp was in there. He was the guy. He was the old dude, not the oldest guy, but there was another old dude that he like fell in love with, like a fucking straw woman or some shit like that. Fucking love it, right? He was on Joe Dirt.
He was Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm. He was the guy on Joe Dirt that was like, you know what you got here is a big old pile of poopy. After he was eating French fries out the fucking piece of shit.
He is also well known for his ABC weekend specials. If you remember those from the like early mid 80s.
Okay.
He played, I think it was like 6 or 7 different characters on those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, I think he did a lot of voiceover stuff too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was Professor Chrome Dome on the Tick.
Okay.
I remember that. I think he was in a lot of that kind of stuff, like a lot of cartoons.
Right.
Yeah.
My last one that I have is Eating Raoul.
Oh yeah.
I don't really remember him in it.
I don't either,
But yeah, he might have been the Nazi.
This is like one of the few people, and you can tell me if there's a reason for this, sir. He has a discography. And the first one that's listed is called Bob Gibson and Bob Camp at the Gate of Horn.
Whoa.
From 1961.
Whoa, he predicted
Foreshadowing.
He predicted
In
it.
30 years, I will be at the Gate of Horn.
I am at the Gate of Horn. So his character's name was Shorty, which he was like some fucking Episcopalian in space or some shit like that. I don't know what it was. No offense to any Episcopalians out there. Sorry. Drop culture recognizes all
That's right.
cultures. And so then we got Claudia.
It's a long way from his folk singing days, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So then we got Claudia Christian, which she's been on a ton of shit, but you really can't put your finger on it, right?
She was Commander Susan Ivanova on Babylon 5. I did never watch that show. Did you watch that?
No.
Nah, me either.
No.
And she was the voice of Helga Sinclair on Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Mm-hmm. And she was on the movie The Chase, which I don't remember.
I don't remember. I remember the movie The Chase.
Yeah.
But I don't remember her in it necessarily. Who was she in that? Do we know?
I don't know.
She was on LA Law. You should know all about that.
Fuck yeah.
She did a lot of Falcon's Crest, Quantum Leap, Matlock, Murder, She Wrote, Gary Shandling Show.
See, that's why you know her, because she was everywhere.
She's like the first person where I was like, yes.
Yeah. You recognize her.
She was on Freaks and Geeks. Come on, son.
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah. A lot of guest spots.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like she wasn't the main person necessarily.
Well, she was the her character was Gwen or something, or Quinn. Yes, it's
or
Quinn.
Something, whatever.
Quinn.
Whatever.
Yeah,
her
she
name
was. So she was like the stable of. She was one of the.
She was the boxing promoter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She inherited it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
From her papa.
Now the one dude that's done a lot of stuff was fucking Mark Alamo.
Mm-hmm.
Not Alamo.
Alamo?
Yeah, Alamo.
No, he's a lamo.
Yeah.
He's also a Star Trek guy, right?
Yes, he was in Total Recall,
Yeah.
Tango and Cash, Deep Space Nine. He was on the Deadpool, and guess what else he was on? The Last Starfighter.
Really?
He was the fucking alien that came down to kill the Beta unit.
Oh.
Yeah. That was him.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I didn't really realize it until I read it, and I was like, that is him, 100%.
Nice.
He was Rogor, which is the big bad in this one. And then you got the hot singer.
Wait, he was in Tango and Cash?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the, you remember with David Wong or whatnot, and they would always video conference with him. And Jack Palance is always doing his thing. Tango and Cash, Tango and Cash, Tango and Cash.
I want you to be my number 1 and 2 guy.
You, I'm a number 1 guy. Fucking yeah, it was surprising to me when I watched that and saw him in the background thinking, holy shit, that's Rogor.
Rogor.
Then you got Sherry Shattuck, right? She was the only memorable one I would say would be on Deadly Ground. And her name was Jade in that one, or in this one. And then you got Armin Shimmerman.
Well, she was on the cover of Playboy in April of 1980, my friend.
We might have to find that one.
So there you go.
Yeah, so-
And she was cast in the music video of 38 Special song Caught Up in You.
38 Special was still going on in the 80s.
Yeah, 1982. That sounds about 38 Special-ish.
Yes. 1977 to 1983.
Yeah,
the
sounds
hits.
right. Ugh. No, sir.
And then you got Armin Shimmerman.
So this is the Weasel guy.
Mm-hmm. Weasel.
That's his name, Weasel.
Yeah.
That's why I called him the Weasel guy.
In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, he was Quark.
What is going on here? Like, they're all like, hey, you've done Arena? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude, we
Let's
saw you in
go.
Arena. We're going to make a space movie. You ready? You're like, oh, no.
I feel like I'm being typecast.
And he's like 5'2", just like Hamilton Camp, right?
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
really short dudes. And Paul Satterfield, Steve Armstrong is like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
The dude's fucking tall. That's pretty much all I really got as far as like the ones that I wanted to mention.
Yeah, that's more than I wanted to mention, so that's cool. I was like, let me talk about this producer for a minute.
And we're done. So
Here, can I give the IMDb, like, what this movie is about?
do it.
Cool. I'm going to do it. A human becomes an unlikely rising star in the biggest fighting tournament in the galaxy that's dominated by alien species. There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all they got.
I read one that was like a short order cook from. I'm like, was he really that? I mean, he was, but
For like 2 seconds.
yeah.
And he fucked up because he was like not paying attention.
Yeah, he
And
didn't
those
know
little-
what the hell to do, and then he started fighting people.
Yeah, they're like, I need 2 number 8s. Where's those number 8s? So basically, they're fighting Mortal Kombat style. There's like you get 2 points and you win.
Yeah.
Which is a weird
What's
fucking
really
system.
cool though is they have a system that, like, let's say your species is more powerful than my species, that it levels it out.
It's a handicapper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the old handicap.
And
We call that a baseball bat here in the United States.
yes. So anybody can fight in there technically if you're good at fighting.
Why?
So like
So-
we're in the middle of nowhere space. There's no planets around.
no.
But yeah,
We're in
all
Deep Space
yeah.
7.
All yes. No, this is Deep Space 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
they've-
figured like these people moved on later in their life to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
So this was pre that.
they had to come back.
They're like, that's too far.
We need to go buy a wormhole for Christ's sake, right? So basically the games are rigged because we get to see the first fight.
It's like some shot.
Yeah, it's
Like the main
whoa.
guy, Horn.
Yeah,
who
Horn
is the champion.
He's the champion, and he has like the shittiest costume out of everybody.
and Rhaegar, who is his boss, is the commissioner. Sort of.
Yeah, he's
Not.
he is highly involved with it,
But he gets to sit up in the room above everything and watch it.
because he's super rich.
Yeah.
Because he's basically rigging
He's
most of the fights.
Rigging all the fights.
Yeah.
He's like the Don King of Arena.
Yes, 100%
Yeah.
with silver on
Yeah.
his face.
Silver face.
He's like a Ziggy Stardust, but like a great value version.
a great value douchey Ziggy Stardust.
And he's an asshole too.
Yeah, total asshole.
So we kind of open with that fight going on, right? And we get to see a robot fighting Horn, right? And we get to see Quinn. She's kind of there, and they're kind of going through this fight. And Home Dude is, fucking up the orders, right? So then he fucks them up so bad.
Yeah, he's not at the fights. He's in a kitchen making foods.
watching a tablet.
Right.
So him and Shorty are working together, and Shorty's got 4 arms.
Right.
Which, if they're up close, they're moving. If they're far away, they look like fucking a spider costume that you would make for junior high, so it works,
Yeah.
So Shorty ends up getting into trouble with fucking some,
Vang.
yeah. And that was his 2 sons or some shit like that, his
Something,
kids,
yeah.
and they didn't.
Because he said something like, if like where I'm from, we teach our kids blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They have manners or something.
And
And then
then,
Vang comes up and like, I'll fuck you up.
yeah, he looks like a fucking fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look weird fishes. I mean, he was way better than Horn, of course.
yeah. As far as makeup, you mean?
Yeah, all of that stuff was really good. So, I mean, even the set pieces are really bland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would think by the year 4038, they wouldn't have streamlined everything so much.
Right.
It would still add a little color. Fuck.
Sure.
And I mean, they just got tablets. Must have.
Yeah.
So Steve Armstrong comes around the counter, whoops his ass, right?
Yeah.
And then Quinn's like,
And then puts him through a window.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and like he does the same kind of moves, and he's like, well, they're like, you're fired. Oh, well, shit.
Well, like just computer comes on, whatever their numbers are.
Fired.
You are fired.
And so
Fired.
And-
Fired.
so Shorty takes him back to the underground to where the poor people live.
Because he tries to go back to his home.
Yes.
And they're like, no, you lost your job.
Yeah,
you
you
still
can
owe like something.
Yeah, and all
deposit or something.
and all it was like a pod.
Yeah.
It was like one of the fucking pods now, but like smaller. It was a jail
Yeah.
cell pod.
Yeah.
So it was smaller than Ripley's room in fucking Aliens.
Yes. That's
Way
a good
smaller.
comparison.
Yes,
actually.
way smaller.
Yeah.
So, and then you get to see the dudes taking a dump and shit like that, like prison and stuff up in their rooms. And then, Shorty takes him down to his underground, place where he lives, pays no rent.
But it's like a total underground community.
Yes, 100%.
It turns out the last human fighter that ever won, like was a champion in
Yep.
the arena, which
Yep.
was 50 years prior.
50 years prior, and this dude looks like he's probably maybe at this point in the 90s, he's probably 51.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everybody lives an exceptionally long time in this future.
Right.
It makes sense to me, just to put it like that, because it doesn't make sense looking at the dude and I'm like, how old was he? 14? So yeah, he basically gets in there, and then Quinn finds out, Quinn finds out that he beat the shit out of her contender. Right. So they sneak into Shorty's place. They kind of fucking.
They have that talk like while they're trying to fix the droid guy.
Right.
Like,
right.
well, maybe if Vang can win,
then we still got a shot.
we can maybe get you taken care of.
Yeah.
And blah blah blah.
Some dude comes in and is like, oh, you got to come quick. Vang's hurt.
Turns out Vang's jacked.
So we do get Skull. Skull's in fucking Shorty's room, and Skull is this weird fucking, it's androgynous kind of like he's got a fucking like fiber optics in his head and shit like that, so he can interface. He's like a living computer almost with his brain.
And Tom is that that guy is actually played Skull is played by William Butler, who was in Night of the Living Dead as Tom.
Nice.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Nice.
He was in a couple episodes of Freddy's Nightmare. He was the star of Friday the 13th Part 7 New Blood as Michael. So he was like one of the main players there. So he's been in a lot of movies where you're like, oh, but you wouldn't know him from this because there's so much prosthetics
makeup,
and stuff on him. Yeah.
And it's weird because I always thought it was a female. And then kind of just like watching it, I was like, okay, complete androgynous.
Right.
So there's no male or female sex with this one. So, of course, he's in there fucking around and, Steve Armstrong's like, I'm going to whoop his ass. But no. Yeah. And then Quinn comes in and is like, hey, you fucking beat up my fighter, blah, blah, blah. You need to come fight for me. And of course, he's like, no, I really wanted to when I was younger, but not now.
Now I know you're a douche.
Yeah, this all sucks. And so Shorty has like, what, $50 or 50 croulons or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, it's got some ruples.
They make something stupid up, like a blue lawn. And so he goes to play some fucking cards, right? Some weird game.
That's his game.
It's his game. He's got 4 hands. He's fucking great, right? They go into this illegal gambling establishment, right? So they're in there and all of a sudden Shorty loses fucking everything.
Well, and even before that, because the girl, what's her name? The one that he rolls the roulette style.
Oh,
thing
yeah.
Like, she's gonna be Jade.
Yeah,
she's gonna be a major player throughout the story, but like they interact, and he's like kind of goes,
Yeah, he's like
Gaga. He's like the wolf, with the eyes and the
yeah, completely, and he wins her like a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like rollerball roulette.
Yeah,
so it's about the size of a fucking rollerball, you know? No spikes.
True.
And so the place gets raided, right? Weasel's there.
Yeah.
So the place gets raided. They actually, Weasel escapes, right? After he shoots with his fucking weird gun, right? Looks like so weird. Their guns were so horrible. They were terrible. And he's always like pulling it out, like,
like the littlest thing too.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, what was it? The little cricket gun from
yes.
Men in Black.
Yeah, but it had a longer barrel. Yeah. So somehow they end up in the count room.
Yeah, well, they make a break for it when they see the one guy go through the little side door.
Yeah.
And he's like,
let's go in there.
Dude wants to go, the four-handed guy wants to take all his money.
Yes. Yeah. So
he's got 4 hands.
Yeah. So he sticky fingers.
That's right.
So they get in there. They get in there and like they get out of that part. So we don't really know where he got all the money, right?
Well, we see him take all the money.
Yeah. And then
he's like, he's loading shit up.
Yeah. He's like, hey, meet me back at my place at this time. Split up, go.
Right.
So Weasel's already gone, but Weasel's seen him go in there.
Right.
And he escapes and Weasel's all fucked up. Like he looks like a fucking weasel. You know, it's perfect.
Little on the nose.
Yes. A little too much on the nose. They could have called him Rogor. You know,
nobody would have known any different, I guess.
No.
Just calling him Weasel.
So
I call this guy Alien.
So basically, Steve Armstrong's like, well, fuck, I'm never leaving. You know, I'm not leaving this place. I'm going to drink some fucking Romulan ale. Right. You know, some blue ale out of a cup. And then Shorty shows up. It's like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they're sitting there and he's watching Jade again on the deal because all of a sudden he sees her and he's like, wow, she's dreamy, you know? And then he's loaded, boing. Of course. Yeah. And so basically Shorty comes in, he's like, hey, one-way ticket to Earth. It's all yours. And he's like, man, why'd you do that? And he's like, you saved my life and that's what we do. You know, I had to send a little. Yeah, he sent a little bit back home
to his like 20,000 children. Yeah, whatever he says he has.
Which was a ripoff of The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
And so, of course,
just a real quick aside. This movie is not as good as The Last Starfighter.
No.
Just so we're all on the same page.
So Weasel comes up, gets him, takes him to Rogor, which is the douchebag.
He's
of
the
whole
Don
movie.
King.
Yes, he's Don King. So they take him to them, and he's like,
What was the guy's
money.
name from Rocky 5? Hit me and I'll sue.
Oh my God.
That guy. He's that guy.
Hit me and I'll sue. Fucking, so they go in there and Rogor's like, I want my money, you know? And Weasel's like, I'll get you. And so it turns into this whole deal because Armstrong got the offer to become a fighter.
Right.
So, of course, right? We're like, he's going to go back to Quinn. So he goes to Quinn. He's like, hey, I'll fucking fight for you, but I need 10,000 Rulons or whatnot, right?
Is that what they're called? Rulons?
Rulons or Wulons.
Yeah.
So it's Rulons or something like that. So he comes back and he delivers the money after Weasel and Shorty are actually playing cards, and he's winning this time.
Right.
He's like, another hour or so, I won't have to fucking do this. So they gave him like an hour and a half to get the money or some shit. But it was like 4 hours, but then he comes back within an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And he hands him the money. Here's your 10,000. Fucking, he's off the hook. Well, how did you get that money? Maybe you should work for me, right? And that's when we get to see that slow decline into the fucking Mortal Kombat scene, you know?
That's where it's coming.
So he gets his first fight, right?
He's against the insectoid thing.
Yeah, it's a weird deal. So
It's
it's
like
got
big.
Yeah, it's got huge grasshopper front legs. And like, it looks like a worm with regular arms kind of on the side. So it's really fucking big, like 3 times as big as he is. 4 times heavier and shit like that. So he's got to fight this dude.
It smacks him around for a minute.
Fucking kicks the shit out of him, like throws him around, throws him out, gets to one point because you got to go past the barrier,
Right.
or you get knocked out.
Right.
You know, if you get knocked out, cool, you're out. But if you go past the barrier, then that's a point. And they only get 2, so it's not a best of 3. It's like first person to 2. So eventually, he finds his groove and kicks the shit out of the dude.
Like he takes out his legs.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
He starts punching him in the crotch and shit. You know what I mean? Like in the thighs.
Yeah.
Like where it hurts, and the dude's like, roar, roar.
Roar, you're hurting my legs.
Oh, not right there. So he kicks him out. So he's the first contender with one fight that they've had in 50 years. That was a human.
Yeah.
So, of course, Horn's, oh, me Horn. So he turns into a big celebrity really quick. Yeah. As you would.
Yeah.
And they start feeding the poor, the whole time, even Rogor comes in before his first fight and is like, hey, I didn't know you were a fighter. And kind of get into this weird deal. And Rogor just has some weird fucking looks, and he's just shady as fuck, right? Yeah. So they get into the whole montage, the Rocky stuff. He starts winning and winning a lot. Yeah. And they show him with the same moves. He takes on, 3 or 4 different dudes and really kind of rises to the top really fast. So it kind of gets to where
like every boxing movie ever.
100%.
Yeah.
And so he's kicking the shit out of everybody, and he knows Horn's a long way away, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, Horn's not that far away. Maybe I can get you a title shot. Come on. Then he fights a giant tongue.
Yeah.
While they're like scrapping. And of course, he's still in love with the Jade woman. Right. Because they go to that club, and that fucking comic is so stupid. Yeah. He's like, I hate all of ya. Dude, comedy will have changed in a long time, especially in 4000. It's not going to be the fucking same, right? So she shows up, and of course, he's all smitten with her. And Quinn, you can already tell she's got eyes for Steve. Right. So there's that little jealousy thing that happens. So, of course, he gets all the way up to the title fight. And the night before the title fight, Jade is actually put on task to go take care of him.
So because she poisons him.
Right. See, and then like right before one of the final, or if not the final one, Skull and Weasel come in and they say, hey, we can do this. We got an idea. And Rogor's like, what the fuck ever? Get out. Because they were going to manipulate the handicapper. And he's like, no, it can't be done. That's why it's never been done. Right. So he's like, no, he can do it. So, okay. And then Roger's
which we already knew about.
Yeah, and Roger's like, whatever, he can't do shit. So it gets to that title fight, right? And before they get to the title fight, we got to see him fight Horn, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're in the comedy club.
Yeah, the bar / comedy club.
And Jade sings that really fucking weird song.
What was that about?
I don't know. I see.
She's not a very good singer for like her being a star or like whatever she is.
That's the best they got in fucking Deep Space 12.
I guess.
She was really
I was
bad.
like, is that girl off key or is that just me?
It's
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a song.
Yeah.
So,
it was her.
So basically Horn is like, oh, whoop your ass. And then Jade's like, hey, come visit me. And so he goes to her place. He bangs her, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, let's have some champagne. And he's like, well, I'm not supposed to. My mom told me I wasn't supposed to after sex. And, so
not before a fight.
Yes. So she fucking poisons him. And guess what? Yep. He's fucked up. And like tripping fucked up and falling all over the place. Can't really do anything. They finally find him before the fight because they're about to call it.
Right.
The final fight. Because Rogor was looking for a way out, right? But then all of a sudden he shows up. He walking in and they're like, oh, okay, another 5 minutes he would have been dead or some shit like that, right? But he's ready to fight. They're like, I don't think he's ready to fight. And they're like, fuck that, I'm ready to fight, right? So it's a title fight. It's the first champion possibility in fucking 50 years. Nobody believed that he could do anything, So he finally gets into the ring with him and he's still shaking off a little bit of the shit. And then, of course, he starts winning.
Yeah.
And Horn sucks.
Yeah.
Horn
Come to find out, Horn ain't as bad as he thought he was.
No, not at all. And then that's whenever Rogor calls Weasel and is like, does this work?
Yeah.
And they're in the skybox.
Do your thing.
Yeah, he's like, do it. Okay. So Skull's back at some fucking Skull Island place, right? And then fucking he's fiber optic. Yeah, he's fiber optic into it.
To his brain.
Right. And he's like adjusting the handicapper and you can see it like fade and go out. So there's like a
colors,
red. Yeah, it's like a red and a blue one, right? So of course they start fucking putting everything on fucking Steve Armstrong. So he's like, I'm feeling like I weigh more, everything's making me sluggish.
Don't seem to...
He can't hit him. He can't do nothing. And Horn's just like embarrassing him, and like kicking his ass. And then fucking the next round, Horn gets a shot.
Yep.
Another one.
That's what happens. Mm-hmm. When it's time to go, it's time to go. You give him the shot.
Give him the shot. Gotta go. Cut me, Lou.
Just like the Black Death in The Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's right. See, Gladiator is way better than this one.
It really is. And that's saying a lot because that movie is why I love that movie. It's not the best movie.
The guy's facial expressions is what get me.
In Gladiator, 100%. Like the white guys, the main star is the worst actor ever.
And he was on Twin Peaks.
Yeah, like him and Steve Armstrong need to hang out and get some acting lessons.
They probably did.
After that, I think he just did a lot of Lifetime movies, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're basically in the middle of this fucking title fight, and they start adjusting the handicapper, and also Horn's like shooting up fucking adrenaline or some shit, right?
He starts kicking the shit out of Steve Armstrong.
Knocks him out of the ring one time, and then Shorty looks up, is like, he sees the fucking handicappers.
He takes a long time to get there, though.
He does.
Because dude's just getting the crap kicked out of him.
The whole fucking time, bleeding, getting thrown around, and Horn's like, Horn champion!
Horn, bad actor!
So eventually Shorty gets up to the top and he's like, hey, I knew it was you, Weasel. And so they get into a fight, right? He drops his gun. And of course, where does the gun hit? It hits on fucking the dude that he beat up at the very beginning. It's like,
right. Poor Bang.
Gotta catch a break.
I know.
He's in the middle of his kids too.
I know. His kids just think he's a dumbass now.
Like,
he got his ass kicked by this human and dropped a gun on his head.
Right.
All they want's their number 8.
So Sorry. So basically, Shorty kicks his ass, right? But Skull's hooked up on the other side. So Skull starts fucking exploding and his brain starts, he's like, fucking weird. And eventually the handicapper actually
Goes back to normal.
Or does it get shut off completely?
Oh, I think it does get shut off completely.
And then he kicks the shit out of Horn.
Yeah.
Naturally. He like wakes up out of it. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm faster.
Yeah, now I can fucking block, punch. block, punch.
And okay, so we should probably say this too. Like, the fight scenes are not very good.
No.
Like, the scripted fights, they're bad.
Yes.
Like,
it's the same three moves.
and the it's obvious there's no contact. Like, were there stuntmen involved in this? Like, stunt coordinators? Because I don't feel like there were.
There is one. He was a consultant, really. Well, because in one scene when Horn picks up Steve Armstrong above his head, you can see the wire.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, whoa,
Hey.
where's the microphone in this shit? You know what I mean?
Where's that boom?
Waiting for it. So, yeah, it's a really shitty fight scene. He ends up knocking Horn out. Cause Steve Armstrong almost got knocked out too.
Right.
And then Shorty helped him out and it was like 9. Get up.
And this guy's a badass because he's been poisoned. He had the whole system rigged against him with the handicapper. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And he still comes back and whips Horn's ass.
Yes. After
just
all
3
of that
moves.
shit. Yeah. Like, yes, exactly. The kick move.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
He's not a good fighter.
No.
So
Like, this guy's 6'4". I could take him, dude.
probably.
In his prime, my prime, done. Don't even care. Like, you don't even know how to throw a punch, son.
He'd kick my ass, but
I doubt it, dude. He probably couldn't hit you. Sam Jones would take his ass now.
no shit, right? Now, today. It's so
So I saved one person from the show. I know we got more to go in the movie,
just a little bit.
but I want to mention this one person. We didn't talk about the director, or the writer rather, of this, Danny Bilson, who also wrote The Rocketeer.
Fucking great movie.
What?
A Joe Johnston fucking extravaganza.
He was also creator, writer, producer, and director for The Flash 1990.
Oh,
TV series.
It looks the same as this shit, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, probably a little bit better.
Yeah. But it's like the same kind of fucking film.
But I was like, man, these are things I know about and that are good. This poor bastard wrote this script? Really?
After like 4 or 5 writers came in and like doctored it.
I feel like what happened was he had a napkin and he's like, yeah, that should be that. And then, like you said, some other people came in and said, oh, yeah, we should do this.
He just left the theater watching Big Trouble Little China. He was sitting with Boone and Tobias.
Yes.
They were just fucking hanging out at the coffee shop. And they were like, dude, before he went to the bathroom, and they were like, man, we're going to create this fucking game called Mortal Kombat. This is so fucking rad. We could do it, right? Wait. He's coming back. So he sits down. He's like, oh, man, I got this great idea. And they're like,
It's called Arena.
Okay. Not cool.
And then Yablans came up and said, let's make a movie.
This is no Masters of Universe.
Maybe.
So to round it all out, he wins, of course. He's the next champion. And Horn's out.
This is where we get our Better Off Dead ending. Where the blonde starts to walk up after, because she told Rogar off and went down because he'd won. Like she was going to go get some mad loves. And then
after she poisoned him.
Yeah. After she
felt
poisoned him.
She felt something for him.
She did. And then he, instead of going with her, he goes with Quinn, the brunette, because that was the 80s. You were either blonde or a brunette. And the brunette was the girl next door who was actually the good person.
Yes.
And the blonde was the bitch.
Yeah. The Marianne.
Yeah. No, Marianne was the.
She was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the Marianne.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
there was no ginger in this though.
no, she kicks the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Just one punch. Is
One
like,
one punches her. Pow! But she's been around it her whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so she probably knows a little something.
Yeah. Maybe. Obviously, she wasn't teaching
Well, I don't think that.
Steve Armstrong.
Yeah, that's true, and I don't think Jade was made to take a punch.
No. She was too soft.
Yeah,
She was a gambler.
A little hard if you heard her music. Ugh. Terrible.
It's so fucking bad.
It's bad.
And then that is the movie.
So I found one production note. I'm gonna be honest. I scoured the internet for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. I looked through the internet. I was trying to find some kind of production note. I'm like, we're going to talk about this movie. I need to know more. Found one thing, and it said that when they did the crowds, they used matchsticks for the individual people and would put a piece of paper on them,
Okay.
right? Okay. And then they'd use a fan to make them move. And that was taken by Phantom Menace to kind of do the crowds the way they did them. So there you go. That's the one production note I got that, see, Star Wars stole that from Arena.
That's the one thing that came out of it.
Yeah.
The one fucking thing.
The one thing. That and... Nope, that.
Yeah.
That and the Rocketeer.
Yes. Fucking Rocketeer ruled. That's weird because I bought the Rocketeer not too long ago.
Really?
I found it on VHS. Still a rad movie. But
that's a good movie for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same guy that did First Avenger?
Yeah.
Director?
Joe Johnson?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's fucking Arena.
That was it.
It's on Tubi right now. Run out right now. Watch the fucking thing, and you'll get more in depth. Fucking alien. Yes.
This was a Lorimar production. And you won't remember that if you are a millennial, because they shut down in 1993.
Oh, this is probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, right. They're like, we've been holding on to this for 2 years. We might as well put it out. Son of a bitch.
I'm trying to think of who Rogor was in Total Recall. Yes, I know who he was. He was the police chief.
Oh, okay.
On Mars. That was him.
Yeah,
that was
wow.
fucking Rogor, man. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did it. He was in a lot of shit. He's all, don't shoot the glass.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have bulletproof glass on fucking Mars at this point? You know. But anyway.
That's a whole different show.
Yeah. That's Arena from 1989, released in 1991.
That's right.
In no theaters.
No.
They probably
Straight
don't.
to video, I'm sure.
I would love to find information about this. I would love to talk to somebody that was involved in this movie. Anything to get a little bit more insight on the fucking movie itself.
It was really hard, dude. Like I said, I looked and looked, and I didn't find anything that was worth saying. You know what I mean? Like, and there's just not a lot out there.
No.
But this is the kind of movie, like you said, if you get a hold of somebody that was on the production, I'd like to learn more about the fight coordination. And some of the special effects as far as the creatures were pretty decent.
Yes, that was the only thing.
Which is weird that they didn't put that much effort into Horn, who was like your main bad guy.
Yeah, you could tell it was like a Hogglehead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like really fucking big and mechanical, and somebody was controlling it. And then if you look at the right angle, you could see the real dude's eyeball in there. You're like, oh, that was really bad.
Good.
Yeah.
It's like seeing the wheels under that big bug in the 50s movie.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, this doesn't work. But it was one of those movies that was 30 years ago that I saw it.
It goes pretty quick.
Once it takes off, it does.
Yeah. I think
there's no substance in it.
No, none.
None.
There's no underlying anything.
They really don't. They really don't even fucking try.
No.
They're like,
Very straightforward.
Let's make a space movie,
okay,
about fighting, and let's really not put a lot of work into it. So the world was not built, so you weren't invested in any part of it.
No.
You just knew that it was a fucking fight club.
Right.
And then, I mean, everything is on the fucking surface of this movie.
Yeah.
There's gambling and corruption and music and four-arm terrarium dudes or whatever.
And he talks about the corruption early on.
Mhm.
Like, he's like, I thought I wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Till I learned how they did it, and now that's gross. What?
I got a joint to smoke.
That's why I'm a short order cook now. Trying to get back to Earth.
I don't even think the costumes were that great.
No, they were terrible, dude.
There was a lot of things. The set design was not that good. I can see this being somebody's student film or like the first film that they did outside of USC or some shit.
Sure,
you know
sure.
what I mean? They're like, I'm going to fucking make my opus. And then they're like, we're not giving you any money.
Never, ever.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, some people did make it out of there.
Yeah.
Except for Steve Armstrong.
Yeah. Well, he went on to have a wonderful career on One Life to Live.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. He's like the California surfer dude. So, whoa. But Arena is fucking so awesome. You need to watch it.
And again, this is, it's not a good movie. First time I saw it. But I did not hate watching it. I enjoyed watching it. It was like funny to me just because when it was unintentionally funny to me, you know what I mean?
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
This is funny because of the way it is.
Seeing Shorty's arms bounce, seeing fucking, I don't know, some of the background fucking monsters and everything. You just gotta,
It's like you said, the string when he's like holding him above his head, and you're like, oh, okay.
yeah, that's the whole fucking movie.
Oh.
Horn is champion.
Right?
Horn is king. Ugh. Yeah, there was nothing really redeeming about it, and I know a lot of people put a lot of love into it, so that's my respect.
There you go. Of course, dude.
People loved it. They put their heart and soul into it, maybe.
They made a movie and we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's why I have that respect for it. And just because it's not a really good movie and I like it. Respect. Gotta know respect, Nikki. Respect. R-E-S. Respect, little Nikki.
He's talking about respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-K. Respect.
Respect. You remember that Adam Sandler one?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Come on, Nikki. What'd you learn in school? That's great. That's great.
The line that I said was from, it was the movie where they were fighting in prison, and Ed Lover was the, remember Ed Lover? The Ed Lover dance from MTV, Yo MTV Raps?
Yeah.
He was in it. He was the announcer for the fight. And the one dude's getting out of prison. I don't remember what movie that was, but that's what he says. R-E-S-P-E-C-K. Respect. Okay.
That's weird.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Nice fight. High five.
High fives. Borat. Fighting in the arena.
It would have been better.
Yes, it would have.
100%.
But that's all we got. That's all I got on Arena.
That's all I got. I was just hoping to do a quick scan to see if I missed wherever I saw the budget for this, because I really want to know now.
I'm going to take a guess because it's the 90s and really kind of say they probably had about a $2 million budget, I bet you.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Yeah.
So, sorry, kids. Normally I would throw it out there. However, I'm sure that they made it for $54. That is my guess.
If they made it for them.
Well, they didn't make $54. They made it for $54. They didn't make any money on this. There's no way in hell.
I want to kind of pitch this one to Vinegar Syndrome.
Okay.
I have to do this as soon as I can, But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 5 covers of some really shitty movies that I love.
Okay.
Like this
This
one.
is going to be one of them.
Yeah, this one. Fucking.
I won't buy that from you,
Yeah.
Maker Syndrome, but somebody will. Brock will.
Yes. This one. Fucking. Lust in the. Well, no, they already had Lust in the Dust.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Love at Stake.
Okay. Gator Bait? Gator Bait 2? No.
And then maybe Microwave Massacre, but that one's still pretty really fucking. That's a good cover.
I feel like that's okay as long as it's the Drop Culture edition.
Yes, yes. Oh, fucking what a fucking movie!
But yeah, man. Check out Arena if you don't care about production value or plot. And just want to have a good time with like a Christopher Reeves knockoff in space.
Great value, Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
That's the best way to put it.
Again, fun enough movie to watch on a Sunday. You know, like I had a good time watching it. if nothing else, just because it was so fucking silly. I was like, what is going on?
I think one of the main reasons why I like it so much is to prove my old friend wrong. Fuck you is good. Better than fucking Tango and Cash. Nope.
It's funny because the tagline on the posters for the movie said there hadn't been a human champion for thousands of years, but in the movie it's like this guy was the champion 50 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
Even the fucking marketing dude's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, if you've seen Arena, let us know and comment on it. Tell me about your experience with Arena.
I would have rather seen this movie. Dude, this movie was on USA Up All Night when they had the special guest Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund.
Man.
That would have been the way to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That would have made this movie so much better. Just to see Mean Gene.
Mean Gene Okerlund?
And Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was
Bobby
a
the
dick.
Brain. Yeah, Bobby the
He was
Brain
a
was
dick.
He was the biggest heel.
Put his dick in him. Put
I'm
your
surprised-
little head up my ass.
I'm surprised this fucking made it on USA Up All Night.
I know. I had no idea.
Wow.
This is like the end. This is like for me, anyways. Like the end of USA Up All Night. You know, if it came out in 91,
Yeah.
92, I wasn't probably watching at that point.
So they didn't have Rhonda Shear
No,
anymore.
no.
They didn't have fucking Gilbert Godfrey anymore.
No.
Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Let's not talk about this anymore.
Yes. Hit us up on the socials, dropculture podcast @gmail.com or dropculture.com.
Yeah.
And you can always let us know how Arena has affected your life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just for some insight, I mean, Brock's been requesting this episode for like 3 years.
Yes.
And I'm happy that we've done it. And by that, I mean, I'm happy that it's behind us.
Yes. All right. And with that, later, dudes.
I'm going to give that 2 out of 4 arms. Peace.
A truly, truly horrible movie.
It was hard to find stuff to redeem, you know what I mean?